welcome back to Panic Butter. Glad to see you. Today we got some creepy and some strange, some chilling. You know the ones we like, the ones we're here for. If this is your first time joining us, hit that subscribe button. That way you, along with everybody else, will be notified when we drop another one. Let's sit back, let's get ready. This is going to be pretty good. Here we go.
Are we speaking to ZOZO?
ZOZO. Looks like crawling.
Alright guys, quick warning because we're going to go into an actual case where a demon is present. The ZOZO haunting of Darren Evans. And let me just say, demons are such vile, evil, weird creatures. In the realm of our existence, these are the worst possible things that could ever exist. I don't know why they're here or where they came from, but I do not like it. From what I've learned, the best possible thing you can do for yourself is keep positive emotions. Because demons like to latch onto anger, fear, anxiety, and in all the cases that I see, they latch onto people with those exact emotions. They don't like happy people. So yeah, that's just my advice, and don't let this video affect you. Alright, let's get into this story.
Well, we're happy here, so that works.
In the early 2000s, Darren Evans, his wife Kathleen, and his friend Randy got a Ouija board. Randy came over and they walked upstairs into a room where they attempted to contact the lead singer of AC/DC. They placed the planchette on the board and began to call out. Everything went normally, but at the very end of the session, it said, "See you in hell." So they're like, that was weird, but whatever. So the next day, they decided to do another session. But this time, things got weird. The board said that Randy was cursed and he would in a car crash. And later, he did. Regardless of this, Darren became obsessed with the board and began to use it again. And one night, him and his wife were using it when suddenly her eyes turned black. She realized that she was blind. She cried and screamed. The planchette on the board went back and forth from Z to O. But eventually, her eyesight would come back. But later that night, Darren was about to walk down the stairs. His daughter was at the bottom, staring up at him. When suddenly, something lifted her into the air and she began to scream. She was carried all the way into their basement and pinned against a wall. So Randy and Kathleen were absolutely tormented by this thing forever. And eventually, they just moved out. Also, by the way, I wanted to say I reached out to Darren myself.
Forever.
And I'm going to try to do an interview with him, and I'll post it here on TikTok. So
you and I would have been out of there on day one, huh?
Leave them in the comments, and I will use the top link.
Wouldn't even have taken
so now that you guys know
maybe
the
2 days.
We get to
How long would it take to pack?
The Adventures team visits that.
You wouldn't even have packed.
And the crew pull up, and they are clearly freaked out.
This is a real thing.
But not as scared as Darren and Kathleen. Kathleen is on the verge of having a panic attack because they haven't been in this house in over 10 years. And Zach wants them to use a Ouija board. So they step inside and the activity just starts immediately. And Darren and Kathleen are having flashbacks. So everybody walks upstairs and they go to the exact same spot Darren and Kathleen used the Ouija board 10 years ago. They sit down, grab the planchette, and they place it on the board. They call out for ZOZO, and as soon as they do, they hear footsteps walk up the stairs.
Are you with us?
Suddenly, the room goes cold, and a feeling of static electricity covers everyone's entire body. Then, the feeling of dread completely takes over, and now the room begins to smell like rotting.
You smell it? Yes, I smell it. Something's moving.
After this thing walked up the stairs, the energy, the smell, everything in the entire room became so utterly disgusting that Kathleen is just gagging and coughing. And eventually, she just wanders off. But very soon, she comes back in. But she is no longer Kathleen. Her belt is undone, she's acting weird, her voice sounds different.
What was that?
Kathleen.
for the way to
and she claims to have spoken with ZOZO himself. And while all of this is going on, the planchette on the board is going back and forth from Z to O.
I'm speaking to ZOZO.
Mama. Drama.
Yeah, just stay away from them.
Sure.
So eventually they just close out the session, but it seems that it did not do anything, because the activity just continues. I've looked for more information on Darren and Kathleen just to see how they're doing now. I did find Darren's social media, and that's how I reached out to him, but I'm not sure how he's doing. But that's why I'm hoping to get this interview, so again, leave your comments and I will ask. That's if I get it, but we'll see. And eventually,
Wow.
I hope I can visit this house.
Wow.
You know, as I get bigger,
wow.
I want to do some like actual investigating myself.
Stay away from
If
the
I could
Ouija
go to that
board.
house, that would be cool.
You
I
know that already.
It's a terrible idea.
It's always good to watch.
But you know, you only live once, and I feel like I'm pretty protected.
Yeah, you don't want to take those kind of chances, though, huh?
Let me know. I'll talk to you later.
Stay away. That's the deal. You just gotta be safe. You can't get involved with those. It never works out good. Even if you do it somewhere else, you bring something back. Oh, stay away. That's the message of the day. Don't do it. You know how it is. 'Cause this is what happens when you do. Let's see what's happening. Where are we at next?
So, I've been hearing some strange noises coming from this bathroom. And so I'm going to set up this camera to record, see if we catch anything. I've never caught anything on camera before, so I'm hoping that this might be the first time, but kind of sounds like scratches.
Wow. Super creepy. But not much there. Enough to scare you. You never know if somebody did that Ouija board there at one time. I think there's an update though. We're gonna find out what it's all about, what happened. Here he is. Let's go.
All right, guys. So you wanted an update. So here is the shower. That's where the cat goes to the bathroom. So nobody's in there. Nobody's in the bathroom. Nothing's behind the door. All right, we're turning the light off because it doesn't like the light. Here's my fiance.
I don't want to be on camera.
Okay.
I don't think we should be engaging yet.
Yeah,
It's
there you go.
fine.
No,
It hasn't
it's
done
not.
anything. It's not really being too like creepy or anything. It just does. So we've been playing peekaboo.
Here we go.
Peekaboo.
Oh yeah, what? You got that in your place. What do? I don't know. Seems pretty spooky. Why bring it there? If you got it, you gotta get rid of it. What about you? What would you do? Let's see what's up next. Who else is scared?
Dog sees ghost and becomes terrified.
See something, huh?
What's wrong, Adam? Is there something over there? Look at your hair standing
What is it? What is it? Go look. Tell him to go check it out.
Why are you shaking?
Oh shit. Don't tell him.
You okay? Autumn, what is it? Autumn, what is it? You okay? Mama's here. Mama's here. What is it? You okay? I'm
No.
here. Autumn, what's wrong? What's wrong, baby? Come here. Come here. Come here. Mama's got you. Mama's got you.
Oh no.
What's wrong, Autumn? I got you. It's okay. It's okay. Oh my God. Are you okay, Autumn?
Spooksville. Oh yeah, 100%.
Come on, let's go over there and see what's wrong. Come on. What is it? Come on. Come on. What's wrong? What is it? Shh. What is it?
Yeah, I'm not having none of that.
Just a bag. It's just a bag. Mama's here.
Yeah. Your pet needs an emotional support pet now. That was pretty spooky for him. Definitely strange, definitely creepy. Dogs can see it though, just like they did there. Saw it. Doesn't know what it was, but he saw it. What are we gonna see? What's up next? Here we go. Sit back.
This terrifying video was shared on TikTok and everyone was shocked to see it. One of the men appears to be involved in a lively conversation with an unseen entity, but there's no one there. However, upon reviewing the CCTV footage, he was terrified to see that no one was there. Here's what happened next.
Yeah, he's just having a conversation. He's sure of it. Yeah. Either he's a really good actor or he sees somebody. Who and what? Have you ever seen anything like this? You know, not on TV. Come on. In person. If you have, let me know. It's pretty strange. It's pretty spooky. But it doesn't go all the way to super freaky. It's up there though. Just gets you thinking. Okay, that's enough thinking. Where are we at next? Let's go.
Next segment has someone who I featured before in a previous video. This person is known as Lee, and he's been uploading footage of paranormal activity that's been happening in his home. Now, whether it's actually paranormal or not is up for debate, but his most recent evidence might just prove that something strange is truly happening.
Yeah,
The
he's
video
definitely
takes place inside
creepy
his
at
living
this
room,
location.
where a security camera mounted on a wall had recently caught footage of something downright creepy. Lee and his family are away from home when the following happens.
Yeah, he's got a lot there. Definitely worth going and checking out all of his videos.
It appears that something had run across in the back. It seems pretty clear that something other than a bug on the lens was captured. This is so, given that the figure is no longer in sight after passing behind the wall. A bug crawling on a lens would still be seen. Now you might think that this is the creepiest footage he's caught, but a few days later, something very unsettling was caught on camera. His most recent video occurs in his living room, like the one before, yet this time, Lee is present during this recording. Now it's a good thing that Lee is a heavy sleeper, as waking up to the following would have freaked him out. This is what was captured.
Yeah, he sleeps and records in this location all the time, and there is some strange stuff that goes on here. Definitely keeps you interested. Yeah. Spooky, huh? But an everyday event for him.
It goes without saying, but his most recent footage has left him baffled. As soon as the smart device stops talking, a shadow-like figure passes quickly in front of the camera before the security alarm goes off. It isn't clear as to what set off the alarm, but according to viewers, the shadow that passed might have been responsible. Later in the footage, Lee returns after turning off the alarm. After checking to see if someone had broken in, he then proceeds to interrogate the entity and captures this.
I've had enough now. If you're a demon, you're the worst demon in history.
Oh no. Challenging him. Will he accept? Not sure that's something you want to do. Let's find out.
I think I saw a shadow there. Was that you?
After waiting for a response, a very faint shadow can be seen manifesting a few feet away from Lee. Viewers can't help but think that this might have been the same entity from before. Based on this footage, as well as others, it seems that Lee is dealing with something beyond explanation. But of course, it's always best to remain somewhat skeptical, as we don't know if the video is real. Like with most evidence, this one remains open for debate.
Yeah, he's got a lot there. Lee has it. Go there and check him out. I think his YouTube is really on it. He's got a lot going on there. If he's faking it, he's good at it. He's really good. Especially the ones where it yanks him and his wife out of bed. Worth looking at. Very cool. For us, let's see where we're at next. Here we go.
Invisible cloak in real life.
Yeah, you know, China just said and just showed that this is what they have. In the beginning, it was thought to have been fake. Lo and behold, it's not. Where do we get it? Oh yeah. We'll make some clothes out of that. You know how beneficial that would come in. A lot of people probably enjoy that out in the woods. Freak the heck out of a lot of other people. Imagine seeing somebody creeping around in that. See them holding there trying to do a TikTok video. You walk in front of them. Uh-oh. Where are we at next?
When the Vatican's Advanced Technology Telescope and the Large Binocular Telescope were being built, why did the indigenous peoples of Arizona, especially the San Carlos Apaches, why did they join environmentalists in filing dozens of lawsuits before a federal appeals court to try to stop the construction of the observations on Mount Graham? The project ultimately prevailed in favor of the Vatican and NASA after an act by the United States Congress ordered it to be done. But the question remained in our mind, why had the tribal communities fought so diligently against the construction of telescopes atop that mountain. Mount Graham is considered one of the 4 holiest mountains in the world for the Apache, and is considered sacred to all of the region's native peoples, and it is so because it is what we might call a stargate. In their mythos, a portal through which the star people have come since the dawn of time. And once we understood that fact, our suspicions as to why the Vatican and NASA had chosen that mountain in particular, even being willing to face a prolonged legal battle to build these telescopes on Mount Graham, including the largest binocular telescope in the world where the Lucifer device is kept, why would they have gone to all of that trouble? Why not just go to another mountain range and find basically the same height, the same environmental conditions? Why did it have to be that mountain? Now we came to learn another thing, and that is that the San Carlos Apache have these preserved ancient tales concerning Mount Graham and that geography, including stories very similar to biblical chronology. These legends involve a creator, a deceiving dragon that follows, an epic flood, and even a race of giants known as the Jindupids, who were judged and destroyed by God. According to the legend, a race of Indians called the Tartans lived in the valley between Tucson and Phoenix. These were just peaceful farmers, and they prospered until one day they were invaded by the Jindupids, described as Goliaths, who were so huge they used tree limbs for toothpicks. Well, these Nephilim were led by this massive man they call Evilkin, who allegedly came from the northeast and were headed south to their home beyond the Gulf of Baja. These giants nearly wiped out the Tartans before they ran and hid themselves underground and in the mountains and prayed to Father Sun, who then threw this huge fireball that came down to the earth, seared the monstrous Nephilim into the scorched mountain rock, and wiped them out. Now, elements of that tale are obviously mythological, but it has a remarkable thematic coherence with Genesis chapter 6. The Apache creation myth is also interesting in this regard, as a particular version involves what they call the one who lives above, who descended down over the mountain in a flying disc at the start of creation. Their myth begins, in the beginning, nothing existed, no earth, no sky, no sun, no moon, only darkness was everywhere. And then the legend starts, before noting that suddenly from the darkness emerged a disc. One side of it was yellow, the other side of it was white. It appeared suspended in midair, and within the disc sat a bearded man, the creator, the one who lives above. Now, besides this creator who rides in a heavenly disc, there's a dragon with the power of speech that turns up, bargaining with mankind, as well as supernatural gateways associated with mountains through which spirit beings have and can come. So suffice it to say that these ancient native ideas involving flying discs, flying creators, spirit guides, even owls and a talking dragon or a great serpent, and supernatural gateways tied to mountain ranges. This is something that began long before the Vatican cast its eyes on Mount Graham. Think how much these legends mirror what the Bible teaches, including the idea that mountaintops or high towers were often depicted as places where doorways into the supernatural could be opened. For instance, Nimrod of biblical fame sets out to build a tower whose top will reach into heaven, Genesis 11:4 says. This was the infamous Tower of Babel, and Nimrod was designing it so that the top of it would extend into Shamayim, heaven, the dwelling place of God. The Jewish Encyclopedia confirms several historical records that Nimrod who it establishes was also identified by various ancient cultures as Osiris, Orion, Apollo, Gilgamesh, that he had built the Tower of Babel specifically to ascend into the presence of God, literally walk onto a high place and enter heaven is really not as far-fetched as it sounds. There are numerous records, including in the Bible, that appear to substantiate the idea that heaven can be attained on high towers or mountainous locations. So think about Moses meeting with God on Sinai, Jesus returning atop the Mount of Olives, the 200 watchers that descended in the days of Jared on the summit of Mount Hermon, and other examples, including Jacob's ladder.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there. You can think about that for days. You'll always be wondering, where are you? Who are you? What are we doing? Why are we here? Oh, there's so many questions. But it's always interesting listening to what people think. Get their opinion. Find out their theory. Is it right? Is it wrong? Well, here we go. Let's find out what we look at next.
In the archives at the Vatican, first of all, it's about 5 miles of archives underground and very, very secure access. In other words, you can't just go, I'm going to go check out the archives underground. No, you have to be security cleared, almost top secret cleared based on their standards to get down there. Down there also, according to even some Jesuits, are bones of actual alien beings, information about advanced beings that visited this planet, the Anunnaki. They have all these relics and artifacts of these particular people. They have information even out of Iraq that shows and proves that advanced races had lived on this planet long before this current civilization here exists. I'm talking about eons and eons ago, super highly advanced with technologies and capabilities of flight and everything else, weapons of war that existed. All that information is stored underneath the Vatican archives, along with some of the most incredible texts and books and inventions that ever existed on this planet. And they siphon it away, and they're hoarding all of that wisdom and knowledge so that they can keep control and power and domination over the world. And guess what? It's working.
Now, if you could go to the archives of the Vatican or even the Smithsonian and look around, spend a day, even a few hours, what would you do? What would you look for? What if you found something you couldn't explain? Would you stand there and look at it, or would you move on and go look for some more? I don't know. Tell me. Here we go. Let's go look at some more.
I'm telling y'all, Donald Trump is a Tartarian descendant. Take a look at his son, Barron Trump. And this is a year old, and it's just now going viral. He is 6'7" at the age of just 17. The Tartarian Empire is shrouded in mystery. Nobody really knows what happened to them. So some believe they could be thousands of years old. If not, they never even existed. But in this video, I'm going to show you proof the Tartarian Empire actually did run much longer than anybody realized. And the theory that Trump actually does descend from the Tartarian Empire may not be so far-fetched after all. Let's start with this image that depicts the flags of all nations. It's allegedly a picture from an encyclopedia from 1865. You can see here, it even has a pirate's flag of nation. So, pirates were actually represented as a nation as late as 1865. And what's odd is that's basically all I could find out about this image. There really isn't much information out there on it. It was authenticated as being from an encyclopedia from 1865. So it is valid, and it does represent the nations of the world. And if you haven't noticed why the internet has been buzzing about it, is take a look here. It has a flag representing the nation of Tartary. Now, I don't know about you, but I find it odd that a flag of nations picture actually depicts the flag of Tartary. If it didn't exist, or if it existed in a prior time, then why would they have it on an image representing 1865? And what's more odd is look what it's right next to. A flag of nations representing allegedly China. Now this flag is really a mystery. Yes, it says it represents China, but there isn't much information beyond that. It's very hard to find any information at all on this flag. Nobody knows exactly its origins, but I find it odd they set it up right next to Tartary. So if you take the time and go back to look up old maps of Tartaria or the Grand Tartary, it seems to cover almost all of Asia. There are many that believe the Tartarian Empire even spilled over to the United States and covered most of it at one time. This is where the world fairs come in. Many theorize that these world fairs that were held across the entirety of the United States. The United States had the most world fairs of any country in the world, dozens of them, showing off new technologies such as moving sidewalks, light shows. This was back in the 1800s when it was just horse and buggy to get around. The buildings were ornate and beautiful. They looked like ancient Rome. The structures were colossal, some of them housing 300,000 people. As you can see behind me, the lights were absolutely amazing. And you're telling me they got all this power and they ran it from the Niagara Falls? I find that hard to believe. To me, they're utilizing another source of power, some sort of free wireless energy. So they had these world fairs and they brought in adult orphans to allegedly repopulate the country and showed them the capabilities of humankind. Many believe they had been here for hundreds, if not thousands of years from a previous civilization. Really, nobody knows what happened to them. It's almost as if they just vanished off the face of the planet. That's what's so peculiar about the Flag of Nations that was made in 1865, showing the Tartarian flag. Did Tartary exist up till 1865? And if so, where did they go? Why is there no remnants of their history? There's virtually nothing in the history books pertaining to them, and nobody's been taught anything about them. They're ghosts. And then the video I found on the internet that showed what I believe is the citizens of Tartary at the World Fairs or before the World Fairs. You can see here, this gentleman right here, standing next to him. That guy has got to be close to 7 feet tall. And then the one right below him, standing next to him. That gentleman is also close to 7 feet tall. These people are much taller than the average size male back then in the 1800s. A closer look. This gentleman towers the other gentleman. I believe that is the normal size gentleman and he is a Tartarian. The video, I believe, depicts one of the last videos of the Tartarians. These gentlemen right here tower over everybody around them. And I can't find any type of military that have these same uniforms in history. Then take a look at this gentleman right here. Towers over the rest of the band. I believe they could be from Tartaria. This guy is a mammoth. Back in the 1800s, when people were supposedly not very tall. In the no history books whatsoever, they talk about a nation that has that colossal size, especially back then. They've always convinced us that people are taller than they've ever been, which simply isn't true. The question we should be asking ourselves is, why would they go to such extremes to keep a nation suppressed along with their history? Because after the World Fairs, they demolished all the beautiful buildings allegedly were built just for the World Fairs in a matter of years. It just seems suspect. Did these people have super advanced technology for the 1800s? And this technology included free energy for everyone? And my big question is, what happened to them? How did they just disappear off the map? Where did they go? Nevertheless, if you watch these people move and watch their gait, they seem very tall, especially this gentleman in the front. Look at that guy. Compared to the rest, he's a giant. His gait is similar to that of our boy, Darren Trump. This kid is a giant. He is huge. 6'7" at the age of 17. Where does that height come from? And it's funny because I've discussed this with my girlfriend. They say that in legend and lore from the outside worlds, sometimes people or descendants of ours come to our land to try and help influence us to be better, to reach for higher heights, lighten us, to help us become better versions of what we can be, to find our true destiny and to act like humans are meant to act. Oftentimes notable figures in our society are alleged to come from beyond the ice wall. They come back because they care about humanity. Because as humans, we are not meant to hate. We're not meant to be jealous. We're not meant to hurt each other. We're meant to love each other. A so-called white hat society that is for the good of the people and the good of this land. So what do you think? Could Trump be from outside the ice walls? Is it possible? Or could they be of Tartarian descendant? This is just me spitballing. You never know. It's hard to say. But it's crazy that his son is this tall. He is huge. And it's crazy because they've managed to keep it kind of a secret until now. It's starting to become more mainstream that he's so damn tall. And I've heard that he's kind, and he's a gentle giant, very kind kid, and a good kid. So what do y'all think? Stay in the love, stay in the light, be kind to others. I am out.
He's a big boy. Put some more weight on him, then watch him. At about 150 pounds of muscle. He'd be big just like that. You walk up and see that, do not get in the water. Stay away. Stay out, stay safe, but you know, there's the people that say, hey, I want to go check it out. Gotta see what the rest of it looks like. That's not me. Is it you? If you made it this far, thanks. Thanks for being here and joining us. Hit that subscribe button. We'll see you next time.